Imagine stepping into a world where ancient traditions meet modern creativity, where every corner holds a story waiting to be told. This is Java, an island of breathtaking landscapes, vibrant cultures, and incredible people. From the bustling streets of Jakarta to the serene temple of Yogyakarta, we'll uncover the hidden gems of this magnificent island, with artists who preserve traditional crafts, musicians who revive ancient melodies, and everyday heroes who share their unique way of life. But on this journey, I faced a life-threatening experience that tested my resolve and resilience, adding an unexpected twist to my adventure. Through interviews, stunning visuals, and personal reflections, exploring Java offers an immersive experience that captures the essence of this extraordinary island. Whether it's the rhythmic beats of a gamelan orchestra or the intricate patterns of batik art, join me as we explore the heart and soul of Java. It's a celebration of culture, a testament to human spirit, and a story of discovery. Here I am in the morning in Denmark. I just woke up an hour ago and went for this walk. Later today I will fly to Jakarta in Indonesia and start my Mindmachine tour there. I have no idea what's going to happen. I have a contact in Jakarta, and from there it's gonna be intuition that rules the way. I'm looking so much forward to it. My glasses is dimmed up right now. But look at this fantastic background here in Denmark. It's been snowing the last couple of days, and it has left the nature with a white duvet of splendor. It's really, really nice. And the air is so clear. It's really, really beautiful. Well, that's all for now. See you when I'm on the way to Jakarta. I had a strong intuition about traveling to Indonesia. It was one of the Asian countries where I didn't have any contacts at all. But just 2 days after deciding to follow this instinct, I got my first lead. A friend of me in Denmark connected me to a man named Bo. Bo has lived in Indonesia for 3 decades, where he has built an international furniture company. Week 1. Departure and arrival. I left on December the 3rd and had a layover in Istanbul, where I experienced the Christmas atmosphere in the airport. After 18 hours of travel, I finally landed in Jakarta. Ready to go to Gambia station and take the train to Yogyakarta. It's like a 7-hour ride in the train. And since I didn't get much sleep tonight because of jet lag, I hope that I will sleep some of the way. However, due to a volcanic eruption and the subsequent landslide, the trip was extended to over 10 hours. When I finally arrived in Yogyakarta at 9 in the evening, Ole was waiting for me at the station and drove me up to Bo's house on the mountain, which became my base during my whole stay on Java.
I would like to introduce you to this fruit. I can't actually remember the name now, but it's only found here in Jogja. It's almost like snake skin on the outside, and on the inside it looks like this. Very special. On this seed inside is hard, but it's kind of delicious.
One of the highlights of my first week on Java was visiting the temple of Prambanan, a stunning example of ancient Hindu architecture. The intricate carvings and bas-reliefs on the temple walls depict scenes from the Ramayana, an ancient Indian epic, and they are testament to the high level of craftsmanship of the Javanese builders. Visiting Prambanan provided a deep insight into the rich cultural and religious history of Indonesia, and it was fascinating to see how these traditions are still celebrated and preserved today. During my visit, I was approached by several school children who were eager to say hello and take pictures with me.
Sorry, my friend is. Thank you.
What is your name?
EMIL.
Emil.
Yeah.
Good.
Their curiosity and friendliness added a personal touch to my experience, making the visit even more memorable. Week 2. Interviews and Challenges. My first interview on Java was with Mugi, a talented dancer and head of Mugi Dance Studio. Through Jonas, a Danish sitar player, I had the opportunity to dive into the local dance tradition and learn about Mugi's passion for Javanese culture.
Because my family, my mother, Papa Situ player, and then my uncle, Papa Situ player, also can dance.
So you danced
Yeah,
before
and
you
then-
could walk?
Yes, and then teach me to dance in
Yeah.
the village, in the,
Ah.
my home in Klaten. From there, and then in elementary school, after this, learn again in College of Art in Solo, after this in EC, from high art and then to collect art. Okay.
There's never been a time where you were thinking, not anymore dance?
Yeah, because my family not only dance, also papat sedo, also play gamelan,
Yeah.
and then like many times listening gamelan, I know about papat sedo or dance, mass dance, Klaten, something like that. And then yes, natural to learn about art
Yeah.
in formal and in non-formal.
Mugi started dancing when he was just 8 months old, surrounded by a family where dance and music were as natural as breathing. This early start, fueled by the vibrant energy of his family, intertwined dancing with the very fabric of his being.
So what does the dance mean for you now?
Dance is my life because from dance I can live something like that. It's my family something. Yeah, because I born from art family, and then now my son also following to art also.
Can you explain the spirituality of the
Yeah.
dance?
It focus and then more open into nature, and then vertical the God like prayer. This dance like praying, like
Yeah.
just focus. Something
I
like
could
that.
see also when you were dancing that
Yeah.
you are really focused.
Yeah.
You get drawn into it
Yeah,
because
yeah.
of your focus.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is the same thing you have in yoga also, that you
Yes.
you focus and,
Yes. Yes.
and you bring it into your to daily life also.
Yes.
How do you think the dance and the music are connected? You think?
If have music, live music, or with CD or something, or yeah, my body and then coming something odd and coming on something. Dialogue, discussion,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Discussion. But if without music on the body, I talk with more open again.
Yeah.
Not only music, live music or something. Have more again, because more difficult if only the body,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you must to open the rhythm and then the body and then the movement and then the audience can feel.
He describes the challenge and beauty of dancing without music, highlighting the need to open the rhythm and express movements more powerfully to engage the audience. I find it fascinating how he explains the symbiotic relationship between music and dance, yet also believes in the standalone power of dance.
What does the mask mean in
Yeah.
this dance?
Mystery for me, because mask, if my mask, many time I make to dance more have power.
Yeah.
Then different mask, and then only one mask I not take.
What
You know,
What is the mask like? A dancing partner?
Or is it more like dancing with something in you, or
Yeah, like partner also, not
Yeah.
only property, but different. If many my mask, if
yeah?
many time I dance, the different with mask only in the box something.
Yeah.
Different feel,
Yeah.
the spirit.
The spiritual dimension of MUGI'S dance, especially with the use of masks, add another layer of depth. He describes each mask as a partner, infusing mystery and spirit into his performance.
Fragility. Do you know what that means? That you are fragile?
Yeah,
Yeah. Can you use fragility in the dance?
yeah. If surrender and then
Yeah.
and then just okay, you're not thinking. Surrender. This like become to fertility, become to fertility. Not many things. Just cool. So
Yeah.
if the first dance,
Yeah.
the first dance, yes, and then it's cool. If not yet clear, the body cannot move.
Once again, thank you for your time, and it's been a pleasure.
Unfortunately, I got sick with dengue fever for 5 days, which set me back. After recovering, I rented a scooter and drove around in the chaotic traffic of Yogyakarta. People drive on the left side of the road and traffic rules are very few and flexible. During my stay in Bo's house, I became very good friends with the people taking care of the big place, especially Mas Luluk and Valia. I was therefore very pleased when they invited me to a traditional Japanese wedding. At the wedding there was also a wayang puppet theater, but unfortunately I couldn't interview any of the musicians as they played non-stop for 10 hours and none of them spoke English. Wayang and gamelan music plays an important role in Japanese culture. The puppet show is on TV frequently, and wayang has been a national daily radio show since around 1930. It takes about 10 years to become a gamelan musician. Every instrument has been specially built for that individual person and for the specific orchestra. The tuning is important. The instrument does not necessarily tune with other gamelan orchestras. It's understood that the special frequencies that a full gamelan orchestra creates has a healing effect on the listeners. Through Ole, I met the Australian guy Tim, who has many contacts in the underground scene in Yogyakarta. He gave me a few Instagram addresses, including one for Aras, a young Balinese artist with whom I arranged a meeting later. Week 3. Meeting Aras. When I arrived, Aras was there to welcome me and show me around his place. Some of the buildings were still being built, and there were fruits hanging from the top of one of the buildings.
The meaning with the fruits that you
Offerings.
is offering.
Aras told me that when a new place is built, there will be a ceremony with a priest, and there will be animals offerings along with the fruits. We found a place to sit and began to talk about his life. I wanted to know when Aras got his strong passion for batik art and began crafting.
When did it start?
When I was kid, when I was 11 years old, my father sent me to Jogja because all our family is graduate from this city.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was a little bit upset back then because I was 11 years old and my father sent me away from home, from my friend, from my culture. So I junior high in Yogyakarta at 2001.
Have you taken some from the culture valley to here, or
By blood and by culture, I'm a Balinese. Yeah. That's why my house, this is like a Balinese compound. With the building itself, I adapted from Java because I respect the culture in Java. I'm decided to stay in Jogja, make a living in Jogja when I was in university. Yeah. I'm falling in love with this people, with the culture. A lot of art work going on in here. So that's make me want to stay a little bit longer in here.
that culture, that spiritual side of the culture? Your art is like batik,
Batik, not the art.
which is origin from
Java. The batik technique itself is actually born in China. In the 4th century, it's brought to Indonesia. And it's crystallized in Indonesia. So, but the pattern in batik what we see today in Indonesia is actually original pattern from Indonesia, but the technique actually from China. So, in this pattern that I'm work when I was young in 2007 until 2012, I'm searching for something. So my style back then is surrealism, abstract, I make a silhouette, but I didn't find a satisfaction on it. This one is an Airavat elephant, vehicle of the god of heaven, Indra. This one is symbolize of protection also.
Indra is known as a god of rain, thunderstorms, and war. Indra wields a thunderbolt and commands the heavens, not unlike Thor from the northern mythologies.
the whole piece of batik here is finished. Is that like a whole story?
It mostly is just symbolize of what I want to represent, like the guardian, the pure elephant, and then several flower. It symbolize of the earth itself, and they have also bird of heaven, and they have a dragon who holding the universe.
What do you think about the future of the batik art?
We are independent in 1945, and start from that, all the tribes, the traditional culture, slowly dying. Yeah, because the young generation right now, they prefer the quick thing. It's dying.
I heard one talk about this. The thing that distracts your mind is that you now are seeking pleasure all the time. Yes, and pleasure will not create anything in the future. It is only there just now, and then it's done.
When you ask me the future of batik, I would say like maybe less than 20 years you will hard to find the batik handwrite batik.
In 20 years, it might be hard to find handmade batik art because mass production is taking over. His words highlight the need to preserve this important tradition. Aras was telling me how he does it. First, he sketches a design on the fabric with a pencil. Next, he uses a chanting tool or brush to apply hot wax to the areas where he wants to keep the original colors. The wax will resist the dye. Then the fabric is dipped into a dye bath. The dye colors the fabric except for the wax-covered areas. Once dyed and dried, the wax is removed by boiling the fabric in water. Finally, he washes the fabric to remove any remaining wax and excess dye, and then he leaves it to dry.
So you're looking to check if there are mistakes? Or?
Yes.
So how many times do you put wax on and then color it and then wax off?
Twice.
Twice?
Yeah.
So two colors?
Yeah, 2 colors.
Yeah. Is that normal or is it different? Are some batiks with more colors?
Yeah,
or?
but it depends how many colors you want to add on the fabric. Is that also many time to waxing again.
Now it's your intuition that will choose one card, and that will maybe change the subject. Okay, yeah. Yes. Everything that exists has a feminine and a masculine side.
Oh yes, I'm agree. I will talk you far back story from India, which is also crystallized in Indonesia. When the god himself, Krishna, was born as Vishnu, born as a human being, he took a form as a Krishna, right? He was bathing in Yamuna river, you know, and the god of destroyer was attempting, you know, to having bath with him. Yeah, both of them is male. Yeah. So the Shiva, the god of destroyer, was disguised as a woman, you know. Yeah. So he jumped to the river, you know, and Krishna noticed that he's actually the god of destroyer, and he said to the god of destroyer, like, "Oh my lord, you know, you don't need to hide yourself. People who able to see and enjoy purity, they will not bound by materially, physically or materially look. Balancing," Krishna said, balancing in this universe is way more important. I think masculinity need the femininity in their soul.
This story, according to Aras, demonstrates the essential balance of masculine and feminine qualities in the universe, showing that both aspects are interconnected and necessary.
How does it express itself in batik?
They have a pattern which is named specially for a woman because it's born by for ceremony.
Okay.
Like Ratu Ratih, the queen of Ratih.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's those pattern is only women allowed to wear it.
Yeah.
You know, because it bring the women in their level. You know, that's why it call it the queen of Ratih. Yeah. And Ratih itself is the spouse of the Kamajaya. The Kamajaya is symbol of fertile demigod.
Okay.
So, and he's also he's a male, but if the puppet is have a feminine side of it.
Before we finish the interview, Aras told me an interesting story of how he met the Queen of Denmark.
You have actually met her.
Yes, she's art collector, and she loved batik. When she have a state visit in Indonesia, and she's visit Sultan Palace, she's collect one of my batik. She's a really nice grandmother. Yeah, and heavy smoker.
Everybody in Denmark knows that she's a heavy smoker. Right?
She's heavy smoker, you know.
She once said on public television, said, "If there is an ashtray, I will smoke."
Hey, Indonesia is full of ashtrays. The biggest ashtray, you know.
But something happened when you met her. You were only supposed to meet her for like 10 minutes.
Yes.
Like an audience.
Yeah, the audience is 10 minutes just to give her the batik.
Yeah.
You know, but she saw my teeth is full of tobacco in there and like, smoking. Yes, let's have him smoke. Yeah.
She's an important person, even though she don't have any real power as a queen now.
Yeah.
She still have social power.
Yeah.
She's like a symbol, symbolic power.
Yeah.
In Denmark, we also have this. You can get like a stamp if you have sold something. If you are providing something for the royal family, you can get that like that and a stamp, so you can use as in your branding. Maybe you can apply for that.
Maybe next time she come here.
It's been really nice to talk with you.
Thank you so much.
Week 4. Culture, Dance and Accident. After just a few weeks of adventures on Java, I had already experienced so much. Every day brought new challenges and surprises, but nothing could have prepared me for the dramatic incident that took place on December the 25th. 2 days before that, I drove to a little town by the coast called Pasitan, where I wanted to spend the Christmas. And the day before the accident, I saw, almost as a warning, 2 dead snakes on my path. Both of them was the deadly but beautiful whaling snake. I had been invited out to sea on a fishing boat with 3 local fishermen to capture the beautiful surroundings. I was thrilled about the opportunity, but suddenly things went wrong. We got too close to the coast and were suddenly overwhelmed by a 5-meter high wave. The wave instantly smashed the big boat into pieces, and we were all tossed into the sea.
Whatever the mind of a man can imagine, he can realize. But the world won't change until you change. As within, so without. As within, so without. When you feel what you want to become, everything changes. When you act upon the love for your dream, everything changes. When you feel what you want to become, everything changes.
After a long struggle in the big waves, I finally managed to get to shore, but was hit several times by fragments from the boat, and I had bruises all over my body. I lost my GoPro and some other items in the chaos, but miraculously, my mobile phone survived the wreck. And luckily, the 3 fishermen also made their way to shore. But I felt sorry for them. They had lost their boat. I had to go to the hospital for x-rays. But fortunately, nothing was broken. However, it taught me something about how precious life is and how easily it can be taken away. 2 days after the accident, I returned to Jogja. I got a tip from Ole to visit a dancer named Sasta, who runs a cafe in a village just outside Jogja. Sasta is a traditional dancer for the Sultan at Kraton, the magnificent palace in Jogja that was founded all the way back in 1755. I'm really grateful that you want to participate in Mindmachine and in this interview. I'm very curious to hear more about your dance and your culture. The first thing I want to ask you about is, when did dance come into your life?
From kid, yeah, but at the time there are 2 choices. Yeah, I choose painting or dancing at that time. But
Yeah.
yes, and then in 1993, when I graduated from high school, I choose dancing.
Do you have parents that dance? Is it in your family in some way?
My parents, my father was a musician, and my mother also a dancer.
If kind of is also a tradition in your family to do something artistic. How many years have you been dancing?
I've been dancing 30 years since 1993.
Was there ever any time where you thought of becoming something else? Or you always just thought that dancing is just you?
Yes, it's all my life.
Yeah.
It's just coincidence. Yeah, I don't know why. And then because I choose it because I like it.
Yeah.
Because I love dance.
But it's, yeah, that's really nice. It's also like a privilege that you can actually choose the thing that you really love to do and then become good at it, so you can actually become your profession, right?
Yeah. I dance Javanese classical Javanese dance, and it is a type of dance. I think it's a high discipline art form.
Yeah.
Yes. And then stopped me to be resilient. I practice once a week on Sunday morning at 10 until 1.
You want to become good at something, you have to put in a lot of work.
And in this case, in my dance, classical dance, the dancer here requires commitment, determination,
Yeah.
discipline.
You think of it as a spiritual thing to dance?
To me, dancing is kind of religion. Religion, it means we believe God, we believe miracle, we believe magic.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all. In this dance, we have a esoteric philosophy here.
Yeah? I would like to know a little bit more about that.
We call it Joget Mataram. Mataram philosophy. Mataram is the ancient kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Before Sultan, we have Mataram kingdom.
Yeah, so that's, is that Hinduistic or is
yeah,
from Hindu?
Yeah. Influence.
Yeah, influenced from that.
Sultan influenced by the dance here,
Yeah.
influenced by Hindu, Buddha, etc.
Yeah,
It's just because meditation like Buddha.
but it's from the times when they built Borobudur and Prambanam. They're influenced from that.
Yeah, just influenced by that.
Yeah. Actually, when I said about spirituality, I am thinking about the esoteric philosophies.
Yes, we have, we call it Mataram philosophy in the dance. Yeah, we call it, there are Swiji, Greget, Tenggo, Koramingko. Swiji means when we dance, we focus.
Yeah, nothing.
Work, focus, realize that we are dancing and focus means, Swiji means one. The meaning of Swiji, one united with the God. So yeah. So, and then Greget means like maybe like determination. Maybe like we have
like willpower.
Yeah.
Like I understand. It is determination. I think.
Tenggo means self-confident. Self-confident is that
Really nice.
Koramingko means sometimes when we make a mistake,
Yeah,
and then we just
it's like you forgive yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, just go on. Self-consciousness.
Self-consciousness.
This philosophy, building our awareness. We aware of everything. When we eat, we eat.
Yeah.
We aware. Yes, that's all. Yes.
It takes discipline. I know that because I meditate every day and still thrown away from the focus. Right?
Actually, this philosophy is so universal. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you play guitar, you also do folk.
Certainly. Yes.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes. So we have the same, different
Yeah. Different.
from art. Yeah, art.
Yeah.
But the same principle. Love is the most important in all music.
But you think that is true?
Love is everything.
Yeah.
Yes, the basic thing in our life is love. That's all.
Yeah.
Not about the money, not about the material. If this life, it's all illusion.
What is love?
Giving something without ego.
So it's about giving.
Yeah,
Also,
and releasing something.
Yeah. I agree completely that love is more about giving something than receiving something. And also maybe love is also the motivator that motivates you to train so much every day and all this because you love this so much. This dance that you're dancing, this is an old traditional dance.
Yes.
How does the future look for that? Is it competitive with the modern music and Instagram and how do you think?
I think this traditional dance is so modern.
And how is the young people? Are there still a lot of young people that wants to go in and learn this dance?
So many young now.
Yeah.
Dancing is just like when we have cat and then it soften your heart, right? But I think this dance not only just form, but it's a medium. This is for education.
So like a mental education, like you have also in martial arts and so on. that you have about learning about yourself and the life. I am really, really happy that you wanted to participate in it. Thank you so much. The current Sultan of Yogyakarta has held the position since 1989. He is not only a cultural figure, but also serves as the governor of the Yogyakarta Special Region in Indonesia, a role officially recognized by Indonesian law. In Solo, the city close to Jogja, where I met the dancer Mugi, is another sultan, or Sunan. He presides over the Surakarta Sunanate. The Sunanate remains a symbol of Javanese tradition and culture, even though its political power is now largely ceremonial. Both sultanates continue to play vital roles in preserving Javanese cultural heritage, including the arts, traditional ceremonies, and architecture. Sasta's sister Erika, I found out, is a well-known artist-painter that has exhibited her works all over East Asia, as well as in Europe. I went to have a talk with her at a fantastic atelier and home in the outskirts of Jogja. When and how did art came to you?
When I was born in 71, and when I was in 7 years old, I already very interested with the art, especially the kids art, like knife style.
Yeah,
Now just looking, my art is still like a
still like that. Yeah.
childhood.
But it is a world famous art style, naivism. You have parents because there are artists, or what? How did you get inspired to do it?
Yeah.
And you forget.
I was born in a family art also, but I think I'm growing up with my own style.
I've been looking around your place. You have an amazing place, a lot of space,
Yeah.
and of course it's also necessary because you make a very big painting.
I always interested with the big size paintings because when I was traveling in the museum, I just looking the big size painting in the museum, like very long time ago. It's already the famous artist made the giant size painting. So I'm interested, and I think the inspiring of the spirit of that. I think my imagination growing up too fast, and I need more big canvas. Many emotional exactly imagination on art is more covered in the big canvas. But the small size is it's okay, but maybe just in the detail something okay.
I went around with you and you told me a little bit about some of the paintings, what the story is, and so on.
Very unique architecture about the palace, because the palace is very central, like the Merapi mountain, and then this one we call the Tugu.
If you go a layer deeper to why you create stuff, does that have any like spiritual meaning to you?
I think painting is like our daily life, because like a professional, like an artist, so many meaning when I was child, and remember the children work is already gone, but never lost from our mind. So the spirit is make me strong.
So when you are painting, you're getting stronger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stronger day to day.
Yeah. In your paintings, what is the Indonesian or the Japanese culture? How does that gets represented in your painting?
Yeah.
You have exhibited in many places around the world, but you still have maybe some Japanese culture that is
Yes.
integrated in your
Yes.
painting.
And the palace very center
between two river, and we are in Yogyakarta very tolerant about the religions. Have the Borobudur symbolism Buddhist, and the Prambanan symbolism Hinduism, and also have the church. We have the old church in Yogyakarta also, and the temple. The temple and the mosque.
So it shows the combination of all the religions and
Yes.
and it's kind of like as I see it, it's kind of also like it's all under the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have many story about the mythology of the mountain. We call it some Sasta knowing about the story, because a Sasta working in the Kraton Palace.
Like every paintings, I put my self-portrait inside, and some my self-portrait inside use the wearing the kebaya. Wearing the kebaya. So the my traditional costume like the Indonesian, like Java, Javanese woman wearing.
You should wear that outfit when you paint?
Yeah,
Always.
90%. I love this word. From my art, I want to be joyful for many peoples around the world. Peaceful and harmony is happiness is simple. I love this car.
The thing that I have experienced with this cars, that they have some power. So it's not random what you choose. There's a reason why you pick joy. When I see also the style you have chosen, the children style or the naivistic style, that is also like a playful style, and playful and joy, like this maze. If you are to say a good advice for young artists here in Java, to maybe young artists that wants to become a big artist, what would your best advice be?
Do the best and never stop the dream and hard work.
Week 5. Music and Art in Borobudur. In Borobudur, I interviewed the musician Herman, who plays a pringpetik, a kind of Hindu guitar made of bamboo. His friend Prade plays a udu drum, also known as kendang geraba. There is something about these instruments.
Okay.
Can you explain a little bit about that?
Our instrument is come from relief from Borobudur temples, and we call kendang geraba. This name in Indonesian or in Java, kendang geraba. And this traditional percussion come from a pottery.
Yeah, so it's made of clay.
Yeah, clay.
Yeah.
Clay. Maybe same as udu in Africa, in India, like this.
Yeah, they have a lot of these clay drums in Africa and also in India. That's true.
Same as clay drum in Africa or India. And maybe in 10th century in Borobudur, people playing this instrument for a ritual or ceremony.
These instruments are recreated from the reliefs of the ancient Hindu temple in Borobudur. What can you explain what type of ceremony could it be?
Ceremony this called sima. It's free from tax.
Yeah.
Free from tax. And this free in the land from tax, and you must go to save the temple or this area, to holy area.
Yeah.
Holy area, and people
dancing and playing music with instrument and traditional drum ensemble with kendang, made from wood, made from clay.
And it has to be acoustic instrument studies from that relief.
Yeah.
Is it like a Buddhist ceremony or
mixed Buddhist, Hindus and Buddhist?
Yeah.
But in Java, maybe in early century, in a lost century till 10th century, maybe this two culture meet and mix. Hindus and Buddhists we call Shiva and Buddha. Shiva and Buddha.
But the ceremony is not mixed with the Arabic culture.
And the ceremony,
or is it also a mix with that?
Original, genuine from
from
Java, from the old people. And me and my friend is make a instrument and inspiration came from temple, Borobudur temples, and we remind in the old century, 7th until 10th century in Java, in Borobudur, and with the new styles.
So if I bought some land here, then I would get a group of people like you to come and make the ceremony. And would there be like others? There's some priests or some. I know because I interviewed a batik artist, and he has just like built something on his house, and then he made a ceremony, and he made some sacrifice of some animals, and you do that also in this kind of ceremonies.
Same like this, but no sacrifice and just symbol. Just a symbol with we call tumpeng like symbols of a mountain. Japanese religion, the mountain is holy.
And it is in many religions. Actually.
Many religions, and we call tumpeng. Symbols of a mountain and some fruits, some vegetables around this.
So the fruits they symbolize like prosper, like good future, and with plenty of food.
Good nature.
I have these cards here.
Yes.
And I think it's time now that you draw one of them.
Okay.
And see what your intuition is gonna pick.
Okay. In our culture, in a Japanese culture, there's a linga and yoni. Okay. It's made from hard stone or come from mountain Merapi and make a symbol of feminine and masculine. Yoni is a feminine and linga is masculine. In a music, traditional music, there is some masculine is in a percussion. And a feminine is a singer and make a harmony.
These inscriptions there are here, does that mean something special?
This instrument made from bamboos. All is bamboos and this inlay of bamboo stone is lotus.
The lotus flower. Yes, of course.
Everything lotus flowers. This inspiration came from Borobudur temples.
It's this is very beautiful. The backside of it.
It's all about lotus. Because lotus is a.
So what does the lotus mean for you?
Lotus
or for the Javanese people?
In Japanese people, lotus is holy flowers.
I have done a lot of yoga. That it is the crown chakra.
Chakra. Yes, a symbol is from chakra in our bodies.
I want to ask you a thing also that I ask everyone, because a lot of cultures are under pressure from modern media, social media, the phone and the internet is everywhere. And how do you see the future for this kind of music? Now with the young people, are they more and more listening to Beyonce and Tyler and maybe they forget about this kind of music? What do you think? Does it still have a future?
Traditional music, Japanese traditional music in a new era, in a modern era, I think develop YouTube, cause everything about media social help our music born again, rebound. My children and their friends watching YouTube about traditional music, about traditional performing, wayang in new media. Maybe in a future our music, our traditional music in a new media can grow better than now.
Yeah, I hope you're right.
I
hope you're right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being a part of Mindmachine.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It's a good program and good channel.
Terima kasih.
Sama-sama.
The next day, Herman took me to meet the amazing dancer and dance teacher PLAYA LINYOTO from the dance studio Sanggar Kenoto Kenan. In the old days, the dance was meant to heighten the warriors' morale when they were going to war for the king.
Thank you so much for inviting me to come here to your place and be a part of Mindmachine. When did the dance come into your life? And how did it come into your life?
Saya masih proses karena di rumah saya ada kelompok atau bapak saya dan kakek saya mempunyai perkumpulan kesenian wayang orang.
Have you ever had a time in your life where you thought that maybe I will do something else?
Saya masih proses menuju sebuah proses menuju ke arah bagaimana tarian dance itu menjadi tarian jiwa saya, dan kalau di Jawa namanya sampai taraf wiroso, nanti bisa merasakan bagaimana gerak dance itu sendiri.
Are there some esoteric knowledge hidden in this type of dance?
Saya rasa tidak ada, tapi semuanya tergantung pada diri sendiri saya. Tergantung pada diri saya tidak terkooptasi oleh apapun, tetapi diri saya merupakan bagian dari alam itu sendiri. Jadi mau tidak mau, pengaruhnya adalah pengaruh positif ke badan saya, ke diri saya, tapi dari semesta inilah yang mempengaruhi saya untuk berjalan bersama secara sinergi dan harmoni dengan tarian saya, dengan beksan jiwa saya.
I have these cards. Okay. I want you to draw the first one.
Okay,
let's see what it says.
One is, the name is menang. Menang. And then this man is ening. Ening is hening. Ening is eling. Jadi eling, hening. Pikiran jernih, tidak terkooptasi oleh apapun. Terus ada nang, no is saya harus mengetahui tujuan saya kemana. Gunung, artinya ada tujuan ke sana. Ada tujuan, itu apa yang akan saya, itu tujuan saya. Harus tatak tanggon untuk mencapai ke sana. And then nang, kalau sudah sampai tujuan ke sana, artinya proses ini saya bisa memenangkan proses saya sendiri, pertempuran saya sendiri, dan saya mencapai kemenangan saya sendiri.
You are not just a dancer, you also make music, right?
Ya.
How do you combine these things?
Saya akan bergerak. Ya. Apa musiknya nanti akan mengiringi daripada ini, dari gerak itu.
Okay.
Vegetarian of diamond, diamond of vegetarian.
The mix of dance and theater that Playa teach is called wayang orang. Orang meaning human. A puppet show come alive.
Setiap hari, setiap waktu, sebenarnya kita harus lepas dari ego. Setiap waktu, sebenarnya kita harus lepas dari ego. Karena egoisme itu akan mempengaruhi secara lahir dan batin, jasmani dan rohani. Kalau ego itu akan kelihatan sekali ketika kita oke, kalau karya tidak masalah karena ego, tetapi kalau untuk perilaku kehidupan sehari-hari, tata krama, sopan santun di Jawa, unggah-ungguh, kemudian ada adab, itu kita harus melepaskan diri dari ego. Tetapi kalau kita karya, kita harus pasti ada egonya sebagai salah satu ciri khas jati diri daripada sebuah kekaryaan.
So when you dance, you liberate yourself from the ego. I can understand that completely. Yeah. You are also a teacher of dance. How old are the kids when they start learning from you?
Kalau di sini, di Sanggar Kinara-Kinari Borobudur ini, anak mulai umur 4 tahun. Umur 4 tahun sampai dewasa. Tetapi saya pernah mengalami sebagai terapis. Saya mengalami sebagai dance, tarian itu saya gunakan untuk terapi kepada teman-teman di rumah sakit jiwa yang notabene mereka orang dalam gangguan jiwa. Saya berikan teknik tarian itu menjadi sebuah terapi.
How do you think it will look 50 years from now? Will there still be wayang and wayang orang?
Saya yakin, karena hanya dengan keyakinan bahwa 50 tahun ke depan, 100 tahun ke depan, bahwa itu adalah budaya Jawa. Wayang merupakan bagian dari budaya Jawa. Jadi saya tidak akan pernah takut kalau generasi itu hilang, karena ini dari leluhur. Dari leluhur itu mereka turun temurun. Kalau hubungannya dengan gen, mereka pasti masih punya gen-gen yang budaya bukan masa lalu tapi akan masa datang.
Thank you so much.
Terima kasih. Ya. Terima kasih sudah berkunjung ke sini. Sudah bisa ngomong sama saya. Saya tidak bisa bahasa Inggris. Maaf, hanya sedikit-sedikit dari lain. Jadi saya memakai bahasa Jawa dan memakai bahasa Indonesia. Terima kasih.
Before I left Borobudur, I wanted to check out a place on the map that said Ilongprogo Art House. I had only an hour before I had to drive back to Jogja if I wanted to avoid the rain. The rainy season had kicked in strong during my days in Borobudur, which meant heavy rain from early afternoon to around 9 p.m. It was here I met the charismatic visual artist and sculptor Sony, who was the owner of the most scenic place with guest houses and a cafe by the river.
Hello, Sony.
Hello, good morning.
And welcome to Mindmachine. And thank you for sharing with me on this place of yours, magnificent place you have here.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
You are an artist painter.
Yes, I'm painter.
How did the art come into your life?
I like everyone, yeah. They like make art when painting when since I'm children. After I become a professional when I'm 26 years old. Like that. When I'm in Bali.
Do you think there is a specific purpose with art?
For example, like me, because I'm only what I think I'm good only in painting. My skill, what I can express myself, like totally, it is in painting. But other is like human, like I might work on that thing or this thing, like that. It is my combination day-to-day life. When I make painting, I think it is where I can total freedom. Because I think that my canvas, my material, it is my way to go to the freedom world, what I want to do, what I want to make.
Is there some esoteric thing underneath, like spiritual meaning with some of your paintings, or when you create things?
Because when I make painting, I do the direct with my object. Like for example, I painting the landscape. I try to communicate, try to understand who that my object, and then same time I work, same time I discuss my question, I answer, I question, and I'm doing. And then about that the way I connect with the object. Yeah, and then this at the same time I am try to see why like this, why like that, and then what I must do, what is my position. It is it is the way I work.
Yeah. I connected right away with Sony, and he invited me to stay the night. I felt that time stood still at this magnificent place. So, when you paint, do you use oil or do you use acrylic?
The truth is, for me is I can use anything, but now I use more oil. Sometimes charcoal, sometimes acrylic. All my painting now I do with the oil. Love is the most important ingredient in all the music.
Yeah. You could also say in art. You think that's true?
Yes, the love is it is the soul of art.
Yeah.
Love can be love with the woman, can be with the mommy, can be with all the object what we do. Yeah. Love is the soul, and other can from the love can go to that inspiration. Yeah.
Can love be related to motivation?
This this love, it is like kind of the stimulant, like it is the kind of the present, like that. Yeah. Love is you must make them always exist, that love.
Yeah.
Love is the expensive thing.
Because many people, they say like love is the one thing you cannot define, because it's some say it's about giving up things for others.
Let me say this: love is like happiness, like God is like something motivation. Like we cannot take it put in the pocket. Yeah, love is alive.
Which culture is strongest in your art? Strongest represented in your art? Is that from Bali or is from Java?
This different place. It is have kind of the different magic of place, like that.
Yeah.
Like in the Sumatra, it is power of the Sumatra land. I born like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sumatra, this big city, become national boy.
Yeah.
That the power of the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
When in Bali, when I go to Bali, they change my life from city boy become painter.
Yeah.
When I'm in Nice, I won't become like human, because I want to see people is people.
Yeah.
I don't want to see people the color of the people or like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I want sometimes I ask people where they come from, and then I just ask the truth. I see them same like me.
Yeah.
I think that's when I'm in Europe. I think I want to be like people is people, no more the color. When I'm in here in Borobudur, the spiritual land, they change my life. I'm a man very long time without children. When I'm in here, when I'm 45, after so many experience in this life with a woman, I have children.
Yeah.
That's the Borobudur land. They give me real responsibility as a human.
What do you think is going to happen with all this AI technology?
This I think that we are already on the maximal of the in the end of life. I think
Yeah.
can be very dangerous. This because after when everyone walk on the handphone, no more people walk on the ground. Yeah. Everyone can have problem for the food after. Yeah. Also, this after no more farmers and no more for the garden. Yeah. It is the danger. Human need the food. Yeah. Now people more, and then everyone want to work on that machine. Yeah.
But it's also very interesting times.
Interesting time. This that's why this. I hope this after have some good men, good people. They find a way. Other some solution. That's what we hope. Yeah. I mean, the quality of human is different. What we call it now is the world of media.
Yeah.
The young one for sure they go to that story of this online. Yeah, go to the story of the internet. And then the old one who won't go inside that, who cannot adapt, they cannot go inside that also. It is special also go inside this. Yeah. If who not go inside, there people forget them.
Yeah.
The quality of people is different. You see. Have the quality, they won't make documentary, they won't that, they won't make this. Have people just use for game. Have people they use only for gambling. This is the quality people is different. We are in the bonus life, but the bonus we don't know how many million years. Maybe 1,000 years, maybe 3 years, maybe 300 years. We don't know.
No.
And then that the world is already getting old. Now, like we say that the climate is changed. The volcano together they shouting, "Hey, I'm still alive, I'm still alive," like that. And then where the ice is already become water. And then already crazy now. And then also when we look at also the earth, the inside already people take all the charcoal, the oil, gold, everything. And maybe they are no more balance. After that they can be zigzag in this planet. Finish story of life. But people also still love because thinking for the young generation, they try to protect the world. They want make again the green. They want make more of the nature is come back to be more like the normally like that.
Sony told me that the Queen of Denmark actually also had visited his place, where they had a coffee together and a chat about art. What were the chances that I would bump into two different artists who both have met the Danish Queen? It was even more random when I later that day learned that the Danish Queen just 3 days before had declared that she wanted to abdicate after 50 years on the throne.
52 år efter at jeg efterfulgte min elskede far, vil jeg træde tilbage som Danmarks dronning.
Later, the royal circle ended for me when I, the 14th of January, the same day as the Danish Queen abdicated, got to film Sasta dancing at the Sultan's palace in Jogja. After saying goodbye to Sony on my drive back to Jogja, I decided to take some days without the constant pursuit of stories. So I found some cheap tickets to Bali and spent 5 days there. On the plane to Bali, the speaker announces the security routine along with a serious warning. If you are caught with illegal drugs on you in Indonesia, the penalty is death. After returning from Bali, I spent a few days in Jogja together with my friends at Bo's house. Valia asked me if I want to try and eat python. A friend of hers had just caught a big one. I agreed and gave her money to buy 2 kilos of the snake. While they were preparing the snake, I was busy painting 2 art pieces, one for Bo and one for Ole, as a thank you for their great help and hospitality. The day ends with a cozy little goodbye gathering with Masluluk, Valia, the snake catcher, and some other friends. Week 7. Pyramids and puppet making. Bandung is Java's second largest city with more than 10 million residents. The day I arrived to Bandung after a scenic train ride in the mountains, I explored the city's lively streets. I stopped at one of the many street food carts for a cup of coffee. While there, I strike up a conversation with the vendors who tell me about an elderly puppet maker living down a small hidden alley very nearby. Curiously, I follow their direction and meet an old puppet maker.
Ah, so you can see the process there. So you start with this kind of like this, and then you shape the. And how do you choose the wood?
Acacia family.
How like that. Ah, that's clever. Very simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The puppet maker has been crafting puppets since childhood, a skill passed down from his father.
My son to painting and
Your son is painting them?
yeah, and my wife clothing.
Ah, okay. So it's a family business?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's good.
150 character.
So you have made like 150 characters?
Yes.
Different ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
My father is the.
Your father was also.
Yeah, my father.
So you learned when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. So this is your father?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My father.
What his name?
Ruhiat wooden puppet. So the player. The player. I am learn to my father.
This you?
Yeah. 1968.
So this is in Singapore?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are from Singapore. Okay.
Basic my father to the painting.
So this is his paintings. These ones.
Painting.
Ah, very nice. I'm a painter too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. And you have some kids also? You have your son is painting?
Yeah, my son to painting.
Does he also know how to do this?
Not learn to carving. My son, yeah.
This is like a mountain, right?
Yeah. Wayang golek.
It symbolizes the mountain, right? So this is mountain with all the animals and spirits within the mountain.
Yeah.
Wow. And the big one.
Yeah. From hotel.
Ah, okay.
Lobby hotel. I'm cut to the big 1.5 month.
1.5 months. Yeah. 2 persons. Oh, that's fast.
The collection from went to America.
He also looks different than all the others.
This from Netherlands.
Ah, yeah. So it's like paintings, or?
Yeah. This from Italy.
And you make these masks also?
Yeah.
It is the one for the dance?
Yeah.
He also created masks, including those used by the dancer Mugi in his performances. The puppets are used in traditional wayang shadow plays. The following day, I arranged through my hotel for a driver to take me to Gunung Padang. The 3.5-hour drive includes an hour navigating mountain roads. One of the places I promised myself to visit long before I started this journey was the pyramid at Gunung Padang. It's situated in a very remote part of West Java, about 3.5-hour drive from Bandung. The pyramid is a breathtaking sight, radiating the same serene, peaceful energy I once felt at the Great Pyramid of Giza and also at the Mexican pyramids I've visited.
So I reached the first stop, where you can see all the monoliths. And the energy here is so peaceful. It's really nice, even though I've just been struggling with the long stairs. I feel so peaceful. It's really nice.
On the way back, we get stuck in traffic for hours, and I barely make the train to Jakarta. I managed to board the train in the last minute. It's not just a train, but the new ultra-high-speed train, which reaches 350 kilometers per hour. The second fastest train in the world. This modern marvel of a train sharply contrasts with the extreme poverty I witnessed in Bandung, where entire families, including grandparents and children, huddle together and sleep on one piece of cardboard on the streets. On my final day in Indonesia, I explored Jakarta's museums and attempt to visit the national monument, Monas, with its iconic flame-topped tower. Unfortunately for me, being a busy Sunday, tickets are sold out, and I can only admire it from below. I take the evening flight and arrive 18 hours later in Copenhagen, enriched by countless experiences. This was my first trip to Asia, and what a great experience it has been. One of the things that really went all the way into my heart was the humbleness and curious friendliness that I met almost everywhere I went. Despite of the horrible poverty that I also experienced, I feel there is a lot of hope in most of the people. Hope for a better future. A few of the artists I talked with was sure that the old cultures will survive, at least in some form. Others were more pessimistic and was sure it will disappear and drown in the ever-growing river of mainstream commercialized culture that every day is floating out from the phones and tablets. I think at least the tradition of gamelan and wayang will go on for a long time into the future yet, and hopefully some of the deeper meanings and teachings that's inlaid in the old arts will overcome and survive the modern commercialized society and perhaps melt into some of the more modern art traditions of today. What do you think? You can share your opinion in the comments below.
Nothing has been and nothing becomes. Everything just is. It's a statement. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you for watching. And remember, all unique things come from passion and dreams. As within, so without. As within, so without. When you feel what you want to become, everything changes. When you act